What's up, guys? Just wanted to hop on and explain the pre-market plan for every day and how to use it. I don't post these just for show. These are actual plans that I would take myself, and I'm just going to explain how to interpret these and really how to use them in your own trading. We're going to get right into it with Apple. On Apple, I said looking for some continuation on Apple, not too interested in shorting it as it could be breaking out. Ideally looking to go long at the 1 hour demand. And part of the reason why I was looking to go long was because Apple had this really strong day yesterday, March 1st. It broke out of this baby wedge here, and buyers were clearly in control here. So I was liking that 1 hour zone for some sort of continuation, and let's find out what happened. So this is what happened in the morning. We tagged this 1 hour zone perfectly, and this would have been a great candle to go long on, targeting VWAP. Nice volume here. The yellow RVOL spikes indicate that. And this would have been a nice 3-to-1 trade if you entered on this candle with a stop below low of day. Let's see what happened. And it would have hit VWAP, first target. If your other target or your initial target was 45-minute supply, it wouldn't have worked out as we sold off here. But there's no reason to make this trade go red on you, as my rule of thumb is if we're more than 50% way or around there, I like to move my stop to break even just to protect myself, especially if you have a smaller account. There's no reason why this trade should have gone red. So that was a nice trade on Apple. The next one was AMD. I said demand was looking nice. Still a bit cautious on this name, though. May look to short, and I was really undecided on what to do. But I was leaning more towards the long side just because we were having some sort of bottoming pattern here, and we were kind of trending up. So ideally, I would have liked to see a demand come back into demand and then up to supply. So let's see what happened on AMD today. And initially, obviously, I don't think I would have taken this trade just because AMD was super, super choppy. And I don't like trading choppy stocks because they don't tend to have follow through as often and they aren't as probable. So if you would have gotten long, a proper candle to get long at is this 1125 candle. We had an RVOL spike. Buying pressure was increasing. We tagged this to our demand. So nothing wrong with this entry, just not as probable because this 85.7 level was pretty strong intraday and VWAP was right there. So it would have been a kind of weird risk to reward. And you would have gotten stopped out if your stop loss was low of day. However, sometimes when you are trading, or actually not sometimes, most of the times where you get stopped out, they actually provide the best entries. And look what happened. We tagged this key level 85.07 as well as this 4 hour demand zone here perfectly when we finished on a red candle. And when you enter on a red candle, the premiums tend to be cheaper. If there was a green candle here instead, the premiums would have been a little bit more expensive. So this would have been a perfect candle to take some calls on. We had an RVOL spike, this nice looking wick here, volume spike here, and let's see what would have happened if your stop loss was low of day and you were targeting VWAP. The risk reward was much better than the trade before and would have taken a little bit, about an hour and a half, but it would have worked out pretty nicely and these would have paid a pretty penny if you took this long from this level, and it would have been a nice day if you were targeting VWAP. All right, so the next trade from the pre-market plan was Boeing. And on Boeing, I was looking for continuation from the 45-minute demand. However, this is a nasty supply overhead, and above 230 we can run. So if we based out in this 230 supply, I was looking to go long. And let's see what happened. So BA, we sold off pretty hard, and we immediately tagged this 5-minute demand zone. And a rule of thumb and a good rule to follow is if you're trading on a zone less than an hour, or smaller than an hour, a good resource is the 1 minute time frame. And just the 1 minute time frame in general in this market has been working out somewhat nicely. And let's see why. There wasn't really a nice clean entry on the 5 minute. So if you look down at the 1 minute, you would have seen a nice pattern here, sort of this falling wedge into demand, which is beautiful. This is whenever you have a pattern into demand or out of demand, they're high probable trades. So you could have either taken this here at this 950 candle. Yes, volume was decreasing, but given the other confirmations such as demand and this nice pattern here, it would have been, obviously in hindsight, it would have worked out. You could have also taken it long at this 953 candle, which was the break of the falling wedge, targeting 225, which would have also paid nicely, which was high of day, or even 224.5. Any of these would have paid really nicely. And you could have even held here. No reason to sell until about 10 o'clock, really. Even 9:58, buyers are kind of getting exhausted here, extended. So you could have, probably 9:58 was the better candle to sell on if you were holding from here. So Boeing worked out nicely. All right, next one was Microsoft. I said 1 hour demand is ideal to go long. If you want to hop in on this trade, I will also look to go long above 238. So I'll explain my reasonings for both. Let's see what happened on Microsoft. Okay, we're going to go back to the 5-minute just because it is a bigger time frame zone. We sold off immediately into demand here, and there was really no reason to get long. Sure, we had this nice wick, but volume was not there. You could have possibly gotten long here down at this candle if you wanted to, as soon as you see this, and then you could have taken it for $1 up to VWAP. That was a possible entry at this 4-hour zone, even though it wasn't amazing. But the ideal entry of the day was at this 3-hour. The reason why I like this entry the best was simply because we had a falling wedge here, and you could have taken it at this candle with a stop below low of day, which was a nice strong engulfing candle targeting VWAP. And sure, it didn't work out the best, but that's a proper trade, and you can kind of see we sort of made it. If you could have re-entered here, we tagged this 5-minute demand zone. That's another great entry here, and you could have target VWAP or even this pivot high up here. So there's a whole lot of options here. That would have worked out. The idea here is, sure, we kind of ripped through this. It was actually this 1 hour demand zone. I'll show you real quick. It was a pretty big zone. And it was here. And it was sort of the bottom. This is the bottom of that 1 hour zone, which is where we kind of bounced, as well as 3 hour. So we had stacked demand here. So it would have worked out, actually, if you took that trade long. Okay, next one, Neo was actually would have been a loser. Not all these plans are going to work out. I shouldn't say loser just because we kind of opened up in demand, and those tend to be lower probability trades whenever we open up in a zone. So if you try to sort of take this getting out of demand, honestly, I don't take those trades just because I cross it off my list as soon as we open up in a zone. So that's just a rule of thumb. There's no trade on Neo today, so that's okay. They're not always going to have a setup or trigger the setup at least. In Snapchat, let's see what happened here. Looking for some continuation out of this 30-minute zone or 2-hour zone below. Now you're probably saying, well, why? It just sold off yesterday and it was kind of looking weak. Well, let's see. On the daily time frame, we kind of have this weird looking pattern here. It's kind of like bunching up. We have a wedge looking thing here. And I was obviously using today's candle, but what I was really focusing on was this trend line here. I was really looking for it to hold in some capacity. And let's see what happened on Snapchat. And Snapchat never made it down to this 2-hour zone, but it did make it down to this 30-minute zone. And it wasn't the best looking trade, but it was going to be a break-even trade, if anything. You could have gotten long here. Volume started to come in. You could have gotten long here with a stop loss at low of day here. And targeting VWAP would have been my target. I didn't take this trade just because it kind of looked weak all day. But if I did, it would have been a break-even stop loss because we were 50% from our target or somewhere around there. Once you're in profit, there's really no reason to let a trade go red unless it's sort of barely in profit or very small for your liking. So that's kind of how I use my pre-market plan. I just look at here and see what's going on, and that's how I interpret it. Hope this helped. Feel free to DM me with any questions you guys may have. Thanks for watching.